Alright, so welcome to Crypto Strikers. My name is Frank. The channel you want to subscribe to for Bitcoin and other crypto analysis. Today we find out that Bitcoin is actually trading in this descending channel. Okay, now in this descending channel that we have here, we find out that Bitcoin definitely broke out from here, and then the price target has been met. So you want to find out with me what is going to happen next, and also Bitcoin has been trading in this particular ascending channel for over 32 days. And if you take a look right here, you'll find out that every 8 days something crazy is happening. 8 days, every 8 days in this particular ascending channel. You want to find out with me what that really means, and then what the impact it's going to have in the price action of Bitcoin as well. And then also we'll find out that Bitcoin has been in this particular rising trend for a very long time, and then something crazy has been happening. As you can see, each time we get to this particular point, something also definitely is happening. You want to find out. And then also, if you look at the volume profile indicator, we have a massive support at this particular region here, and then also my no-brainer target in this particular movement for the Bitcoin price for the long term. So there are so many things you're gonna learn from this video today. Definitely want to stay to the end. And also we're going to look at the Bitcoin dominance as well. The Bitcoin dominance has broke out from this particular rising wedge that we have here. Now this rising wedge is going for the retest, and then you want to find out what this really means, the impact it's going to have for your altcoins as well. So there's so much more to learn in this particular video, so you definitely want to watch to the end. So first of all, I'm going to start this analysis from this particular ascending on this particular wedge that we have here. We saw that Bitcoin broke out from this particular wedge at this particular point here, and then the price target of the wedge was actually 102,000, and it was met here. Okay, so now we met the price target of this particular wedge of all this pattern that happened here. So what's going to happen next? We'll find out that if we go straight further to this particular ascending channel that Bitcoin has been for over 32 days. Now if you take a look at this, you're going to find out that now on this particular ascending channel, Bitcoin has been trading between the support and resistance in this particular channel, but something crazy is happening in this particular channel that most people are not really paying attention to. Now if you take a look at this, when Bitcoin started this movement in this particular channel, at the bottom here, you'll find out that once Bitcoin touched the support of this particular channel, it normally takes 8 days for this particular movement to move from this support to the resistance of this particular channel. Now if you take the distance from this point here to this point here, you find out that it's exactly 8 days. Okay, you find out that it's exactly 8 days from this point here to this particular point here. Okay, you find out that it's 8 days it take the Bitcoin price to move from this point here to this particular point here. All right, and then also when you do the same thing from this point here again as well, from this top here down to the bottom, when Bitcoin come to the bottom, now from this bottom here as well, Bitcoin take another 8 days from here, from this point here down to this particular point here. As you can see, we use 8 days to move to the top of this particular ascending channel that we have here. Remember, we use 8 days to move from this point here to this point here, and we saw a massive pullback in the price of the Bitcoin price, but that pullback still landed us at the bottom of this particular channel. Now we've gotten to the bottom of this particular channel. Bitcoin also used another 8 days from this particular point here down to this particular resistance of this particular channel that we have here. As you can see, it takes 8 days from this particular point here to this particular point here. Now if we do the same thing now again, we've gotten to the bottom of this channel here again. Now if we do it from the bottom of this channel, as you can see, if we do another 8 days, it doesn't necessarily have to be 8 days, but at least Bitcoin have been following this 8 day sequence in this particular channel. So now definitely, so the 8 days that will take the Bitcoin price to move between this particular point here. All right, it will make the Bitcoin price to move on all these points here. You know, we can have a movement even almost to the downside and come to this particular point here, and then this will also most likely take another 8 days for the Bitcoin price. So we're looking forward to around let me do the measurement again from this point here down to this point here to that's 8 days. So we are looking around 18th of December. Okay, so that's like 18th of December. We're going to see that movement either to the upside or to the downside. So in between now and 8 days time, you want to prepare yourself for this particular movement that will definitely happen in the Bitcoin price. Now, if this particular channel definitely break to the downside, okay, we're going to have an impact for the Bitcoin price as well. So now if it breaks to the downside, there's also a price target for it. Okay, if it breaks to the downside, you simply want to look at the next area of confluence, which will be this particular point here. Okay, which will be this point that we have here. All right, to be this particular point that we have here, which is sitting around $91,000. Okay, so now if this eventually breaks to the downside like this, it breaks to the downside, we're going to have something like this. We're going to have something like this, and then we'll find support at the $91,000 range, and then start another movement to the upside, because apparently Bitcoin is in a massive bull run in the long term. So you definitely want to watch this video, and then also if we take a look at this, we find out that the most time you want to like be buying your Bitcoin, you don't want to be buying your Bitcoin when this particular when this particular moving indicator is at the top. Now if you take a look at this, now when this indicator was at the top, you can see we saw this massive sell off here, and then when we are at the bottom here, you can see when we are at the bottom here of this particular indicator here, we saw this movement in it of the Bitcoin price. Okay, so this indicator, this is actually the X-Lash moving indicator. All right, now this indicator is not this indicator is just meant to predict the momentum of the Bitcoin price. Okay, so this tells you the momentum of the market. All right, so it's just about the momentum. So now you can see that when the indicator was at the downside here, when we were at the downside there, we saw this massive movement to the upside. So each time we have this indicator on the downside, there's movement to the upside. As you can see one here again as well, there's movement to the upside. So what this simply means is that you want to be buying the price, you want to be buying your Bitcoin each time this particular indicator is always at the bottom. You don't want to be buying at the top. Okay, so it's just pure white and black. You don't want to be buying at the top. So definitely you still want to look at other indicators as well to make your decision, but at least when you see this indicator at the bottom here, that is where you want to buy your Bitcoin. Okay, or you want to buy any of your crypto assets, always buy at the bottom and sell at the top. So that is just like the golden rule for all crypto and for all assets in general. All right, so right now this particular indicator is at the top. Right now you can see we're facing resistance at the top, and then most definitely we're going to have something like this. I'm going to have something like this, you know, we're going to have that movement like this to the downside. So this part, when each time we are this downside here, this is the point you want to be buying your crypto. So right now, as you can see, if I zoom out now, you'll see that then we have been having this pullback in the price. Okay, you can see that we've been having a pullback, in the price right now, and then once this pullback happens, we'll most likely find support around this particular point here. Now once we've gotten that support here, we will now know if the movement will continue to the upside or we're going to have a movement to the downside. So only the price can tell. Nobody can really tell what will happen. Okay, so but the thing is that you want to prepare yourself each time we are having this particular movement in the price of Bitcoin. Most importantly, each time when the price gets to the downside like this, each time you see the price at this bottom of the indicator, that is when you want to be thinking of buying. And also note that everything I'm saying in this particular video is not a financial advice. I'm only just giving out my thought on what I feel the price of Bitcoin will most likely scenario that will happen in the price of the BTC asset and other asset I'm going to share in this particular video. So note for the fact that I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not in any position to give you financial advice. You are the one that can make decision for yourself. All right, now if you take a look at this, okay, we'll find out that the volume profile indicator here that we have here, you can see there's much traded volume around the Bitcoin price at this particular point here. Okay, you can see we have a crazy volume there, and then that's sitting around 90. That's sitting around $98,000 for the Bitcoin price. So there's much traded volume there. And then another area, this volume that you're seeing here, this volume also signify support for the Bitcoin price. So if the Bitcoin price is dumping, okay, if you have this dump happening right now for the Bitcoin price, this volume, okay, will serve as a support, okay, to serve as a support for the Bitcoin price. So this just simply means this is the area where we have much traded volume as of the time when the Bitcoin price spiked to the upside. So there's much traded. A lot of people were interested to enter either a long or a short position at this particular point here. So that is just what it means. So the next area of confluence is this particular point here, which is sitting around $96,000 to $95,000 range. So now, if the Bitcoin price definitely starts coming down to this downside, these 2 points here, these 2 confluence that we have here, the first one here and the second one here, that is 98,000 and also 96,000, they will act as support for the Bitcoin price. But if the Bitcoin price eventually fails to hold any of these supports that we have here, you can see there's no much traded volume here. People are not really interested in trading anything when it comes to this particular point here. So it means if this support here couldn't hold, it just simply means that we're just going to have a free fall down to the next area of confluence, which is sitting around, which is just around this point of $91,000 range. So we have a good support around this range here. So most definitely the Bitcoin price will be supported at this particular point here. All right, so now when we take a look at the Bitcoin price on this weekly time frame, now if you can see, Bitcoin started this movement at this point here, enter into a massive consolidation here for over one, let me see the time duration it takes for this consolidation to happen. And before we have that breakout, as you can see, it takes the Bitcoin price a maximum of 224 days. Okay, so imagine we consolidated for 224 days before we eventually saw this massive movement to the upside. All right, 224 days. So now this consolidation that we have here, and then because of this massive momentum that we have here, we know that will propel the price to this to the upward side. Okay, to prepare the price to continue that movement to the upside. But now if you want to get the price target of this particular movement, a lot of people call it a bull flag, a lot of people call it different stuff, but all it is just a movement from this particular point here. Okay, just a movement from this point here down to here. Okay, so now if you want to get the price target, okay, so if you want to be like very conservative with what you're doing in terms of the price, okay, now you want to take it from this point here down to this point here, you know, to determine your first price target. Okay, now if you do it like this and take it down here, as you can see we met the first price target, which is just this movement between this point here and this point here. Now the second movement, which is the price target of this particular bull flag that we have here, okay, the second movement will occur. Let me change this to white. Okay, now the second movement will occur from this point here, because the whole movement started from this point here or down to this place here. So you want to take the measurement movement from here down to this particular point here. Okay, you want to take it down to this point here and just take it to the point of breakout. Now for you to be very conservative, I normally put it at the bottom and not at the top here like this, although that's what many people do, but I like to be very super conservative when I'm making prediction for any analysis. Now if you take a look at this, you'll find out that the price target for this movement is just around 138 to 39,000 to $142,000. So between 138,000 to 142,000, that will be your price target for the Bitcoin price. So we still have a lot of room to go, okay, as far as Bitcoin is concerned. Already, okay, there's still a lot of room for the price of Bitcoin. So but right now we're just trading around this particular point here, so most definitely we're going to see that movement to the upside. So now, and if you take a look at this Fibonacci extension movement that we have here, you can see that it aligns with this movement that we have here. That's this measurement price target that I just showed you guys here. Let me show it to you guys again. This movement that we have from this point here down down to this point here. Okay, now if I take it and put it at this particular point here, you will see that the price target is just around 140. Okay, so that will give us a price target of $142 to $143,000 range, around that price range. Okay, so now if we take a look at this, you can see it aligns with this price target of the 2.414 Fibonacci extension range, which will give us a price target of what, $146 to $147,000, as you can see, which coincides with this one that I have here. You can see 147, 148, just right around that plus. So this also tells us that there is still more movement. There is still more movement. The Bitcoin price still have more room to go to the upside. That is just what it means, because this extension price also confirmed the price target for it as well. Now this particular chart, I'm going to come back to it, because this will tell us where and when to sell your cryptocurrency, when to most eventually get out from the market. Okay, so I'm going to come back to the chart. Now let's take a look at this, at the Bitcoin dominance. Now if you look at the Bitcoin dominance, we find out that the Bitcoin dominance has been trading on this particular rising wedge for a very long time. That is since like 2 years ago, since December 2022. Okay, we've been trading on this particular rising wedge, and what happened, we can see the Bitcoin dominance get to the top of this wedge and saw this massive pullback. Okay, now we saw this massive pullback in the price of this Bitcoin dominance. Now for those of you who are new, okay, this Bitcoin dominance is not the price of Bitcoin. All right, this is not the price of Bitcoin. This is just simply the dominance of Bitcoin. It just simply means how Bitcoin is performing compared to every other crypto asset that we have in the planet. Okay, now if you remove Bitcoin, there are other crypto assets. So now other crypto assets versus Bitcoin, okay, how are they performing? If you take both Ethereum, Litecoin, Binance, every other coin that you know, you take all of them together, you combine them together, they all now when you combine all of them together, their performance compared to Bitcoin, that is what this particular chart is now. If you take a look at this, Bitcoin was outperforming every other cryptocurrency that we have here. Okay, every single asset here, Bitcoin is outperforming them since 2022 up to 2024. But that's why we have this rising wedge here. But right now, if you can see, the Bitcoin dominance just drop. Now it means that since the dominance drop, it just simply means that those other assets have started gaining dominance over Bitcoin, that started outperforming Bitcoin. So what does that simply mean? That simply means that if this Bitcoin dominance starts this continuation movement to the downside like this, if we see that movement to the downside for the Bitcoin dominance, it just simply means that we'll keep coming down to the downside, something like this. If this kind of movement occur on the Bitcoin dominance, it means that your altcoins, every other coins that you have that are not Bitcoin, coins like Ethereum, coins like Binance, coins like BNB, coins like XRP, Litecoin, bread, every other crypto asset that you know, okay, they will start rising in price because the Bitcoin dominance is losing value compared to them. So you want to pay very close attention to this particular chart, and if this price start falling and it continue this movement to the downside, the next area of confluence where I believe the Bitcoin dominance going to find support will be around this particular point here, which is around the 48% dominance, because this dominance is categorized by percentage. Okay, so now when the Bitcoin gets to this particular point here, it means that the Bitcoin is using about 61.7%. It's like 61.7% outperforming other crypto assets that we have out there. But because it's dropping now, so right now the percentage is just around 54%. So now if this percentage drop down to like around 48 to 42%, it means every other asset will start outperforming Bitcoin in the crypto space. And what that simply means is that your altcoin will start flying to the upside. You'll see altcoin exploding, altcoin doing 20, 30x, 100x, 200x, 2000x. This is how they all started. Okay, so it's popularly known as your altcoin season. All right, so it's known as your altcoin season. So you want to pay a very close attention and look at this particular chart. Okay, you're looking at this chart. Each time when you see that this price start coming down, this will give you like a prompt to know that you want to start moving most of your assets from Bitcoin to every other altcoins, things like Ethereum, BNB, SRP, Litecoin, Tezos, whatever any altcoin that you are holding in your portfolio. You want to be moving your asset from Bitcoin to that particular, either to a stable coin or to every other asset that are not Bitcoin, because they are losing dominance in this particular chart. As you can see, we've just had a retest, and since because of the fact that we just had a retest, it also just simply means that after this retest, you can see you can now start having that movement to the downside. If the Bitcoin dominance didn't gain more support and start its movement to the upside, it will just simply fall down to this particular area of confluence here around the 42%, and that means the altcoin season will definitely begin. Okay, so now I just want to highlight this is just the Solana BTC chart that we have here. Now if you look taking a look at the Solana BTC chart, we can see that Solana was absolutely outperforming Bitcoin from this point here. Okay, you can see since 2023, since June of 2023, Solana has been outperforming Bitcoin in the market. Okay, so that is just what it means. That's why we see this particular these particular movements to the upside. You can see this is Solana versus BTC. Solana was outperforming BTC until it comes to this particular point here. That's this massive consolidation that we have here. Now if this symmetrical triangle that we have here eventually break to the upside, it simply means that continuation. Okay, this movement that we have here, which will definitely continue. So that will simply means that the price target will be from this point here down to this point here. If you take it and put it at any point of the breakout here, let me say it actually break out at this particular point here, this will put the Solana price at 0.03 against Bitcoin. Now if you want to take a look at the percentage, okay, that just simply means that between this point here to this particular point here, this price of Solana will outperform Bitcoin by 39%. Okay, now Solana will outperform Bitcoin by 39%. It means that each time Bitcoin is dropping, or even if Bitcoin is moving to the upside, Solana will move 39% more times higher than what it was supposed to move, because it's outperforming Bitcoin in this particular chart. So you want to chart your altcoins against Bitcoin, okay, to know if they are eventually outperforming Bitcoin or not. That is what you really want to do as far as this crypto space is concerned. So definitely put your eye in each and every of these charts I have here, and most especially watch out for this chart. Like I said, every 8 days, you can see every 8 days it take the price to move from this bottom to the top, from this bottom to the top, and then now we've gotten to this bottom, and you can see it will take most likely another 8 days to get to this point, and that will put the Bitcoin price to a price target of $106,000. So if this particular channel eventually didn't break to the upside, and we now have something like this, we now have maybe another support, we now form higher low. Okay, there's now higher low. You can see this one low here. We now Bitcoin price now created another higher low at this particular point here. This is the point you want to start, being super optimistic for the Bitcoin price, because most definitely it will get to the top of this channel, and this will most likely happen between now and 8 days, from between today and then 8 days time. So put an eye on this particular chart, and then this will determine where the Bitcoin price will most definitely go to. So if you're finding value in this particular video, remember to click the like button and also click the subscribe button of this particular channel. So I'm gonna catch you guys in my next video, where I'll be dropping out altcoins that you will most likely need to have in your portfolio when this Bitcoin dominance start dropping, and the price of altcoins like Solana and every other altcoin that we have, when they will eventually start rising. Okay, you want to watch that video where I'll be dropping most of the altcoins you will most likely buy and have in your portfolio. So I'm gonna catch you guys in my next video, and always remember to stay safe. Peace.